And I'm excited to see how this goes forward as we continue picking players throughout the weeks as we're debating who's the best coming from each conference.
Yeah.
We're going to throw them in the Madden simulator. We're going to decide. We're going to try to pick who wins beforehand, throw them in, let Madden decide, see what happens. I'm excited because at the end of the day, I think we might actually settle it. Where is the actual best conference? Where are the best NFL players coming from?
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts. Put it in the comments. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Probably, because it's zero credibility. All hot takes. Building super teams here. Bubba, you want to give us a lead in here?
So here's the question that I had is we always talk about who's the best conference in college football, who's whatever. Let's take the players that played in the NFL in 2024. Let's break them down by conference. Let's pick super teams, and let's figure out who is the best conference, who are the best players, where are the best NFL players coming from. And so here's how I broke it down. It's broken down into 8 different teams. You've got the Power 5 conferences, the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12, the Pac-12 in its last year, and the SEC. In addition, so we can fill out the brackets, there are 3 other teams. First of all, there's the non-Power 5 teams. So any other team that's out there that is in the Football Bowl Series, the FBS, that is not in a Power 5 conference is eligible for that. Secondarily, the non-FBS teams, that can be Football Championship, that can be D2, D3. There's even some guys that didn't go to college or went to college somewhere in Germany or New Zealand or wherever. Those guys are eligible there. And then finally, the wild card. What would a team look like if we take all these players out? Who's the best of the rest? And we're going to put them in a wild card team and see how they play it out. We're going to pick the teams. The rules are as follows. Whatever conference the college is in currently at the end of the 2023 season is what it counts for. So Texas and Oklahoma, we know they're going to SEC next year. Nope, they're still counting for Big 12. Let's break them down. Let's take it step by step. We're going to pick the teams, and we're going to start by position so that we can pick through there, all right?
10-4. All right, so let's start at the quarterback position, and we're drafting here. And let's just start with the SEC. A lot of quarterbacks to choose from in the SEC playing in the 23-24 season. But, JT, we'll start with you. Who's going to be your starter at QB?
Something to mention here. Injuries aside, we're looking at their entire NFL career. If you had these guys healthy today, where are they playing? That's what we're looking at here.
All right. So you're looking. We got our Bammer Homer on here, and I'm seeing all these Alabama names on here. Mac Jones, no, not going to be him. AJ McCarron, no, we're going to pass. Tua, all right, maybe. But let's go on down to a Tiger. Not an Auburn Tiger, but an LSU Tiger. You're giving me this number 1 pick. He's been hurt this year, but there's no better quarterback in my mind than Joe Burrow.
I like that one. Bubba, where are you at?
It comes down to 4 quarterbacks to me as I'm looking through here. It's Tua, Matt Stafford. I know he's old, but he's still looking great out for the Rams. Joe Burrow and Dak, the Mississippi State quarterback. I think Tua gets it rough because we say he's a game manager. He's got all the talent. That's true. I want a playmaker here. Stafford would be a great veteran quarterback. I tend to agree. It comes down to Burrow and Dak for me, and maybe it's just the recency bias. I mean, the Cowboys always have this collapse in the playoffs. The Cowboys always do rough. Maybe it's seeing that. Give me a healthy Joe Burrow. I'm with you, Jansen. I think that healthy Joe Burrow should be the quarterback for the SEC here. I
was hoping you were going to take Dak. So I said, so you like to win games but not ships, because that's exactly what Dak does.
That's where I was going with that one. I would have really loved to see what Anthony Richardson could have brought to the table this year.
Ooh,
he was exciting. He's got a big potential. He may go in the wild card slot because we don't really know his career at Florida. He showed signs of just incredible athleticism. But we're taking him off the table for now. And based on what you guys put out there for QB, I agree with you on that. Here's the knock against Tua. They said he played for a just spectacular college offensive line, which he did. Every one of those dudes are in the NFL, and then their backups are in the NFL. So he really didn't get challenged a lot. I think you're starting to see some of that come through with the NFL, with the injuries and things that he did. He still hasn't proven that he can win the big game. Dak, We already discussed it. Give me Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, clean sweep for the SEC.
So Joe Burrow is the official quarterback for the SEC for this fun little exercise here.
All right, let's move it to the Big Ten. And as Bubba mentioned, it's the Big Ten as of this season, not what the Big Ten is going to be next year. So keep that in mind. All right, so one thing that stuck out to me, and I'll go ahead and make my selection here, was I just figured there'd be a lot more selection from the Big Ten. I was very underwhelmed at just the lack, and now there's some big players, but just the quantity of what's out there. But as I go through this and looking at the quarterbacks, I kind of went back and forth with CJ Stroud, kind of more what have you done for me lately? He's doing good. But then Kirk Cousins, a career. He's consistent. I really like the guy. He's done a lot with not as many weapons. I know he's had Diggs and such, but after all that, give me CJ Stroud. I'm going CJ Stroud for the Big Ten. What do you like, Bubba?
I mean, I think you said it. Like I was really surprised when I was going through these quarterbacks, kind of how shallow the Big Ten was. I was really expecting more. And certainly before this year, it's Brady, no question, throw it. But interesting names on there. Like you said, Kirk Cousins, he's just been around for a while. Justin Fields, everybody keeps waiting on him to break out. Tommy Cutlets, so Tommy DeVito is an Illinois QB. I mean, he had some exciting games. And then there's Russ. And Russ was in the discussion, but he's just been so brutal these past couple of years. If I'm taking him today, I'm so impressed with what the rookie has done over in Houston right now. I'm kind of with you, Graham. Give me Stroud. Stroud randomly is the guy to me. I mean, you can make an argument for Cousins, but I kind of like Stroud here.
And being a Bears fan, and we talk Stroud, Ohio State, but you're not looking at Fields at all. Fields he's done, not even consideration.
It's just
so you said enough, JT. Your pick.
I'm glad you mentioned Tommy Cutlet because we couldn't leave this section without him getting a little bit of a shout out.
Give me some love, Tommy.
Bubba. I mean, when we talk about Bears and the Bears draft strategy, the fact you didn't just take Fields there as a Bears fan tells me everything I need to know.
Everything.
Put it on the record now. They're not trading that number one pick. They're drafting Caleb Williams and they're trading Justin Fields. Because if you can't take Justin Fields in this, that tells me everything that the Bears fanhood needs to know about your confidence in that individual there. But I hate to do a clean sweep again. I was looking at the numbers, guys. We've sung C.J. Stroud's praises when we were talking about the playoff games earlier. He ranked 8th this year in yards passed, but he didn't play 2 games. When you look at yards per game, coming in at number 1 with 273.9 yards per game is C.J. Stroud. You mix in the fact that he threw 23 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions. 5 interceptions. He's the only one in the top 15 that had that low. Give me C.J. Stroud. This guy, I know he's a rookie, but he may be the QB of the future. There may not be a better one out there to pick in the whole draft that we're doing than C.J. Stroud.
Talent is talent, gentlemen.
That's talent.
Let's move it to the Big 12. Again, be interested to see where this one goes. And unlike the Big 10, significant quantity and quality of QBs in the league from the Big 12 just goes to show you that they do not play defense, or if they do play defense in the Big 12, you just got stellar quarterbacks ripping them apart with wide receivers. JT, we'll start with you on the Big 12. Where are you headed?
Yeah, you mentioned it. There's a lot to pick from. You see great names like Patrick Mahomes. He's probably the low-hanging fruit there that you're the one that you automatically want to go to. You got Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy sitting there that's like, ooh, when you look at this year, you take away the bias and the media around Mahomes. And then you've got some low flyers. You've got Baker Mayfield that if I'm, again, looking at this year, had a major resurgence. We're not going to talk too much about the Zach Wilsons or the Desmond Ritters. You've got some starters out there that hadn't been starters for long and have been back and forth off the bench. So, but when I look at all of this, I'm going to what have you done for me lately? And as tempted as I am to go Mahomes, I haven't seen anybody really manage the game and win for their team as much as Brock Purdy. Now, I know salary cap doesn't come into this, but that certainly does help when you look at the contract he's on as well. But all of these, when we throw this in the simulation, give me Brock Purdy. I think that guy's going to win for me 9 times out of 10.
Bubba.
And you didn't even I don't think you even mentioned Jalen. Built by Oklahoma, Jalen Hurts is in here too.
He's reverted to built by Bama. I don't know if you watched him last week.
For purposes of this exercise,
Hits keep coming, guys. Hits keep coming.
Jalen's a trendsetter. I mean, he entered the transfer portal before anybody did.
Here we go. Get to the point.
How do you not take Mahomes? I hear what you're saying. I hear the arguments are great for Brock Purdy. MVP season, arguably this year he's done. How do you not take Mahomes? How do you not take the Super Bowls? You're nuts. It's Patrick Mahomes, Texas Tech, Red Raider, Patrick Mahomes. Shout out, by the way, to Andy Dalton, the original Red Raider, Andy Dalton, the original gunslinger. Pat Mahomes. It's Pat Mahomes. There's just not a question here. I like what you're saying about Purdy, but God, Pat Mahomes. It's a debate, but it's Pat Mahomes.
The original Red Raider. Am I missing something there? Andy Dalton, TCU, Frogs, the Frogman. He did not. Zero credibility for Bubba, so your pick is just out the door there. The old redhead, get him out of here. He doesn't matter. All right, well, hey, I like every one of your picks, but, man, let's go over to Oklahoma. Let's go to Oklahoma. Jalen Hurts, Alabama, Oklahoma, whatever. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, guys that give you legs and an arm. Not really agreeing with the long-term decision-making to go with them, but they are intriguing. But to everybody's point, how can you not go Mahomes? How can you not go with a QB that's about to get sacked and goes into a pure horizontal plank in the air and throwing it before he does a full flip? I got to go with that. I like Brock Purdy. I just can't, at the end of the day, I cannot pick a quarterback from Iowa State or anywhere in Iowa. That doesn't sit well with my soul. Iowa State, they haven't seen an offense ever. They're built on defense and fat and strong, big offensive linemen. So
and tight ends.
There you go. Purdy's great. He's figured out how to do it with his talent, but I got to go with Mahomes. All right, let's move this thing along here. Let's get to the ACC. And I'll start here. Again, ACC, a little bit underwhelmed on here, but there are some big names here. Maybe I was just underwhelmed on the quantity. Maybe that's what it is. I just expected more. It's not a hard decision. Lamar Jackson. It's Lamar Jackson. But I sat on here. My backup has got to be Trevor Lawrence. I really like Trevor Lawrence. I would love to see somebody else and what Trevor would have done. Not at the Jags, not being ruined by the Urban Meyer, giving a little bit more talent. But no question, Lamar Jackson.
Daniel Jones is better than we think he is. He's just wasted on the Giants. I mean, it's Lamar. There's no question it's Lamar.
Yeah.
But I think Daniel Jones is a little wasted where he's at. I'm just saying that.
All right. Well, do we need to spend time here? Is it Lamar? Clean sweep?
ACC, much like FSU getting left out of the playoffs this year, this is a list that keeps you crying. Trevor Lawrence underperforms. Deshaun Watson underperforms. Daniel Jones underperforms. Jameis Winston on the bench more than he gets to perform. Sam Howell up and down. Mitch Trubisky, high pick, done nothing for you. But it's Lamar. There's no debate on this. This is a team, much like their division in college football, that's just sad to look at. So much potential, just can't get it done.
Yeah, I would have really loved to see what Deshaun Watson could have been. Absolutely could have been. But you make bad decisions, you pay for them. All right, let's go to the non-existent Pac-12. And just for, giggles, we'll go with the Pac-12. Bubba, you want to start us off here?
Yeah, you want to talk about quality. You want to talk about what I honestly think might be the hardest decision that we're making in picking these teams right here. It comes down to the two quarterbacks from Cal and the one quarterback from Oregon. So from Cal, you've got Jared Goff, who looks great, who's leading the Lions in the playoffs right now, doing fantastic. Made the trade from the Chargers. That may go down as the most even trade that's ever happened. The Rams for Stafford and to the Lions for Goff. Maybe the best trade ever for both teams. You've got Aaron Rodgers, first ballot Hall of Famer. And yeah, he was injured this year, but we're saying no injuries. He came out of the dark room after drinking the ayahuasca or whatever he did, and he's completely healthy. Let's pretend he was healthy this year. What's he got there? And then also there's Justin Herbert, the Oregon quarterback. All looking solid. I think this is a very tough decision between the three of them. I have to I really, really struggled with this one. Guys, call me crazy. I'm really leaning Justin Herbert over Rodgers and Goff here. I think Herbert is the guy right now. That's not taken away from what Aaron Rodgers has done in his career. But if you're asking me fully healthy in 2024, who do I want as my quarterback, Justin Herbert or Aaron Rodgers? I think I want Herbert.
Well, and I guess that's the part that I need clarification on. Are we going with the player in his prime? Because you keep referring to all time, right? So
no, I'm saying like the idea would be if you were playing him right now in 2024.
So age is a consideration. Where he's at. Perfect.
Yeah,
okay. So it's not an all-time stats. It's what have you done for me lately type of deal.
Where are you at right now? If we played this game in 2024 and everybody was healthy, who would you want?
Bingo. JT, where are you at?
You know, you forgot a quarterback in there that should be in this conversation as well, and that's Gardner Minshew. Look what that guy's done in one. I know he's not the one that has the best stats, but man, that guy's fun to watch.
So he's right now Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's the new Ryan.
Yes. You just got to pull for him.
I pull for him. He doesn't make this top 3 list, but I want to pull for Gardner. I love Gardner.
So, Bubba, I hear you on Herbert. You know, even in like fantasy football, we know we love our fantasy football here. I was the early Herbert and had him for years, and guess what? I didn't draft him and put him on a single team this year. I'm not convinced Herbert knows how to win. I think he knows how to put up stats. He's a dang good thrower of the ball. He does not know how to win. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, does know how to win. Aaron Rodgers may be one of the craziest, kookiest, sideways guys there is right now, but there's something to his format. There's something that keeps that drive going, and he's just got that dog in him, and he's got that chip on his shoulder. Give me Aaron Rodgers in this one. I hear you. And Jared Goff deserves more of a nod than what I'm giving him here.
He deserves that.
I mean, he's really made a resurgence. But if I've got my pick of this litter, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers.
Great pick. Give me Sam Darnold. Whoa. Okay. Wow. Hey, as a USC fan, and I guess you can say built by USC and not Oklahoma, you got to be excited that Caleb Williams is entering the NFL draft and it's going to represent USC. But between Matt Barkley and Sam Darnold out there representing USC, that's a tough bag. So I guess I'm the tiebreaker, and I struggled here too between Herbert, Goff, and Rodgers. I think we all three kind of went on there. But even if the what have you done for me lately, even with age, I've got to go with the Hall of Famer. I need a guy just like Brady who wants one more. He wants it, and he's hungry, and he's working hard. He needs to, and he's off Pat McAfee show, right? So now he's got more time to train and recover.
He came back on the next day.
Did he really? Did he? Well, the word is there. They've cut ties, whether it's just the end of the normal run or not. But give me Rodgers all the way. Go Cal. All right, now we're gonna quickly hurry up here. But something that's going to be very interesting to see in this tournament is the Group of 5 or the non-Power 5.
Yeah.
The FBS and below in the wild card. So we'll go through this quickly. JT, we'll start with you in the Group of 5. Who are you drafting at QB?
All right, so this is my non-Power 5, right? These are my Notre Dames and my Boise States and all of these teams, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that Notre Dame would agree with you on that one. I think that they, but
I don't know that they've got a quarterback to pick from anyway.
Let me go. I'll make it easy, guys. It's simple to me. I mean, it comes down Derek Carr, Jordan Love, both deserve consideration. It's Josh Allen. It's
all
not
the way.
Close. It's Josh Allen. I don't know that Wyoming was in the FBS when he originally came out, but for exercise this day, he's in here. It's Josh Allen. Is there even a question about that over the other two?
It's not.
It's
I
Josh.
can make an argument for Jordan Love. I think Derek Carr is certainly not in it for me. I haven't liked Derek Carr at the Raiders. I hadn't liked Derek Carr at the Saints. There's nothing about Derek Carr that does it for me. Sorry, not to hate, you seem like a good guy, but I know you're watching. But there's nothing about Derek Carr. It's Jordan Love or it's Josh Allen, and all chips on the table. You can't beat Josh Allen. That's who this one is.
Yeah,
he's a winner. Jordan Love is a winner. Josh Allen, and the fact that he had to go to college wearing that just nasty uniform. Has anybody checked lately of Wyoming's like color palette? It's just puke barf. If you thought the Browns were bad, go take a look at Wyoming. Whoever made that color,
landscape. It matches the landscape.
It's colorblind.
We'll wear their jersey to get to hunting afterwards.
We'll go that way. All right, so let's go to as Bubba said, the non-D1, and then I had to kindly remind him as a member of the FCS division. It is Division 1. We just play in the playoffs. Playoffs. But now you can't even say that because there's a playoff in the FBS. So anyways, enough of that. The FBS, the non-FBS, right? So FCS and below. Let's start with you, JT. Where are you going with this one? You got to do some digging here.
I have to admit, I didn't even know Carson Wentz was still active until you got this list pulled together for us. So we're looking at Carson Wentz and Tyson Badgett and Jimmy Garoppolo, who is not on the field ever on the field. He stays injured. And, I think this list would have been a lot harder week 1 through 6, 1 through 8. But there's a man that reemerged this year who looks fantastic. Our guy straight out of Delaware, Joe Flacco. And you're saving grace for this team because I think, Joe Flacco, if you hadn't had that reemergence, I don't know what we would have done here for QB. Give me Flacco.
100%. It's not even close. And there's some guys on there, like you said, Jimmy G, Carson Wentz, some guys that have made appearances. I promise you the non-FBS team really gets better, but not at quarterback. But they really get better. It's Flacco. It's no question. Joe Flacco is the QB for the non-FBS team.
What could have been with Trey Lance? Somebody that everybody put so much stock into, coming out of Fargo and the Fargo Dome in North Dakota State, the Alabama Crimson Tide used to be of the FCS. Not anymore. South Dakota State now owns that. And you know what? Who's at South Dakota State? Their quarterback, Chris Oladukin. You know where he came from? We know where he transferred from? Samford University. But I'm not picking that guy. I'm not picking that guy at all. I think you guys made a great point. Delaware bringing in the Flack attack. I got to go with Joe Flacco. Somebody that I would have loved to go with, though, is what if old Duck Hodges was still playing for the Steelers? What if somebody got smacked in the face by Garrett with a helmet, Mason Rudolph, to get his shot? Let's check in on Duck Hodges.
By the way, Duck Hodges is winning at life.
Laney Wilson, let's frickin' go.
Duck Hodges winning at life right now, boys.
So that's your wild card pick?
Quack attack. Quack attack. Yeah, he's not even on the NFL roster, but he's winning at that. All right. So
that leads to the question of the rest of the guys that are left over, of everybody that we've talked about that we did not select. Who's your wild card quarterback? Who is the next best guy up? Is it Brock Purdy? Is it Justin Herbert? Is it Deshaun? Is it Lawrence? Who is it? Dak? Who is it?
I got it, and it pains me because you guys know I bleed orange and blue, but it's Tua. Tua does not get enough credit for how good he is. When I look at everyone else that's out there, it's Tua for the wild card for me.
Bubba. G?
Look, I'm going Herbert. I think Herbert, I picked him for the Pac-12. I think he's the next best guy up. I mean, if I'm picking my wild card, that's who I'm going with is Herbert. G, you've got the deciding vote here.
Well, here's where I'm at. Are we going to? And you're assuming that I picked one of the two that you guys did.
Oh, that's true.
I did not, in fact, do that.
Then we're going to have to argue it out if you don't.
Well, here's my thing, and here's where I got to go with this wild card. If the wild card is just going to be our second best throughout these conferences, then that team's just going to freaking win because you're just going to get a stacked. So to me, a wild card, you've got to go with somebody that you wouldn't put up there normally. I go back to the Anthony Richardson. Like, we don't know what that guy could do. He seems like he seems like a really good fit to put in there. The guy's got the athletic ability. He's got the talent. He doesn't necessarily have the weapons around him. To me, I'm leaning like him or Baker Mayfield that would go in the wild card. But I'm going to go Anthony Richardson. I think the guy next season, depending on how he recovers, I think he's got a chance. I could be wrong here. But if we're going a wild card team, giving somebody a chance, I'm going with Anthony Richardson.
What? I love it.
Ooh, what?
I love it.
What?
You're exactly right.
And to make sure that Herbert's not on the roster, I was going to pick Richardson anyway. Herbert's going to win.
No. Let's have fun with this. Let's make a wild card team truly a wild card. It's like, who is the most exciting person that you want to see on that field to just go off and go crazy? Like, putting Devin Hester at a running back or Cordero Patterson. Like, wild card is wild card, and there's no better wild card than Anthony Richardson. I'm with you.
Let it fly. Look at that. I persuaded the group here. Maybe I missed my calling as a lawyer. I don't know, Bubba. As the Esquire here, you be the judge of that.
Hey, man, you're in advertising. I convinced 12 people. You convinced the world.
Ooh, I like how you turned that.
Man, I can't wait when we throw this on the Madden simulation because Anthony Richardson's going to run all over the place. That's going to be a good team right there.
All right.
The quarterbacks are settled, guys, and I'm excited to see how this goes forward as we continue picking players throughout the weeks as we're debating who's the best coming from each conference.
Yeah.
We're going to throw them in the Madden simulator. We're going to decide. We're going to try to pick who wins beforehand, throw them in, let Madden decide, see what happens. I'm excited because at the end of the day, I think we might actually settle it. Where is the actual best conference? Where are the best NFL players coming from?
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts. Put it in the comments. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Probably, because it's zero credibility. All hot takes. Bubba thought Andy Dalton played at Texas Tech, so obviously credibility there. Drop it in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. JT, any closing comments before we wrap up?
Put who you put out there. Sorry, Notre Dame. We didn't hear a single team from you, player come up from your team. I think that speaks volumes.
For the record, I'm going to put them in the Power 5, right? Whether I believe it or not. I do not believe with the not group. Anyways, we're out. See you, fellas.